Alright, so today we're going to have some fun. I'm going to play the same solo 5 times on 5 different overdrives, and we're going to compare how each of them sounds for soloing and lead playing. This should be really helpful for those of you who may be new to pedals and you're not sure which overdrive to go for. There's a lot of options and it's pretty overwhelming. Or maybe you're a pedal veteran and you're just interested in trying some new and different flavors of overdrive. Hopefully this will give you a taste of what to expect from a few different food groups of drive pedals. Alright, so before we get too far into it, let me just say a quick word about my approach to overdrive pedals. For me, I'm usually stepping on an overdrive pedal to push an already somewhat dirty amp into overdrive. What I mean is that the amp that I'm playing is usually already cooking just a hair. I tend to play Voxy British style amplifiers, and if you've been watching the channel, then you know that my main amp is a Dr. Z Z-Rec. It's a Z-Rec Junior to be exact, but I play these amps at what we call the edge of breakup, which means they're already adding just a little bit of overdrive to the signal. So an overdrive pedal in this context is going to react just a little bit differently than it would if you were playing into the front of, say, a blackface Fender. That's the main point that I want to make before we get too deep into this. Just keep in mind that every overdrive is going to react differently depending on what amp you put it in front of. For the EQ on each of these, I'm just going to use my ear to set the tone knob where it feels the most natural, and I'm not going to add any compression to the signal chain. The only other effect that you may hear is I may add some delay in post just to give the solo a sense of space. My goal here is to demonstrate how each of these pedals would sound in an actual band mix context. Typically I would add just a hair of delay if I were taking a solo. And as for the solo itself, I'm going to be playing my version of the solo from The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. This is a solo that we've probably all heard a million times without even thinking about it, and I add my own little twists and turns in the solo, but I chose this solo because it'll be familiar to you. Plus, I've always just liked how country it sounds. It's like they snuck a country guitar solo into a top 40 pop punk hit. So with all that said, let's get into it. Alright, first up is the Nobels ODR-1. This is a pedal that's very popular in Nashville, and for good reason. It's a really versatile pedal and it works well with most amps. It can do low gain all the way up to high gain, and it has this really thick, meaty, harmonic distortion to it that is just really pleasing to the ear. Some people would call this a transparent overdrive, meaning it doesn't color the tone of your amp too much, which is true to a degree, but I do think it kind of has its own sound and it does impart that sound onto your tone. This is one of my favorite pedals for soloing. Check it out. Alright, next up is the Boss DS1. This is the very first guitar pedal that I ever owned. My dad got me this for Christmas over 20 years ago, and I'll never get rid of it. And don't be fooled by the white knobs. It's not modded. This is bone stock. I don't even remember when I put these on here. I've had this pedal since I was a kid. I think this is a lot of people's first distortion pedal, and I know I'm guilty of this, but it shouldn't be judged by how it sounds through an 8-inch speaker in a practice amp. Let's find out how it sounds through a cranked tube amp. Alright, next is the JHS Moonshine. I'm basically using this as a placeholder because I don't actually own a tube screamer, but if you didn't know, the Moonshine is basically JHS's version of a tube screamer circuit, so it will get us in the ballpark. It'll be close enough to demonstrate that classic TS sound. The tube screamer sound is another one that's a bit polarizing. Some people don't like how much it accentuates the mid-range, but for me, specifically for soloing, I like that. I like a soloing tone that cuts through the mix a little bit, and I think most Tube Screamers and Tube Screamer clones do that really well. It's the most popular overdrive circuit for a reason. Next up is the Wampler Paisley Drive. This is kind of like a distant cousin to the Tube Screamer circuit, but it's also its own thing altogether. Brian Wampler designed this pedal for Brad Paisley, and the whole idea behind it was to try and replicate the distortion sound from Brad's Trainwreck amps. I think this pedal pairs with my Z-Wreck like peanut butter and jelly. It behaves a little bit like a Tube Screamer, but it's fuller and thicker, and it has a lot of rich harmonic content that I really love. Check it out. Last but not least is the King of Tone by Analogman. This is one of those holy grail pieces of gear that people talk about because there's such a long wait list to get a King of Tone. I waited 6 years to get mine, and it was well worth the wait, but believe it or not, I don't keep it on my pedal board all the time. I kind of tend towards those more mid-focused overdrive pedals for playing live, so this mostly gets used in the studio for me. But it's kind of an honor just to own one because they're made with such craftsmanship and love, and they just sound amazing. This is what most people would consider to be a true transparent overdrive. The best way I can describe it is that when you step on it, it just gives you more. It's like having a second channel for your amplifier. This is a dual overdrive, so it's a 2-in-1 pedal, but we're going to be playing out of the high gain red side today for the solo sound. Let's hear it. Alright, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments which of these pedals was your favorite sound for soloing. I definitely have a favorite, but I want to hear what you guys think. If you're interested in picking up any of these overdrive pedals and trying them out for yourself, I've got affiliate links in the description below, and if you use those links, it helps the channel out a lot. If you like this, click like, and if you're new here and you're not subscribed, come join this community. I'd love to have you. And until next time, keep on picking.